Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're looking for a serious shortcut to understanding the modern customer, the real complex customer, you are definitely in the right place.
Glad to be here.
Today we're embarking on a mission to really get a handle on this necessary evolution in customer understanding, buyer persona 4.0.
Yeah.
We are talking light years beyond just simple demographics.
Oh, absolutely. The days when, a basic profile age, job title, and maybe location was enough for a marketing strategy, those are just gone.
So that data isn't useful anymore.
No, it is. That foundational data is necessary, but it's no longer the engine of growth. It's just the raw fuel, you could say.
Okay, let's unpack this shift then. If we could no longer just rely on those surface-level demographics, what actually defines this 4.0 persona?
I think we've fundamentally shifted the focus from who the customer is to what is meaningful to them.
Meaningful. How so?
Persona 4.0 requires integrating deep emotional motivators. I'm talking their specific values, the fears that drive their decisions, and their hidden needs with their observable behaviors.
Like what channels they use or how they shop?
Exactly, like which channels they trust for information or what path they take to a final purchase. You need both sides of that coin.
So it's not enough to know someone is, say, a 35-year-old manager in Chicago.
Right.
We need to know that they value time efficiency above everything else. Their greatest fear is falling behind technologically, and they spend their lunch break reading deep dive reports on LinkedIn.
You've got it. We're moving from static data to dynamic motivation. The goal is to build out a semi-fictional target profile, a representative customer, but one that's rigorously built from real-world research.
And when you have that,
when you achieve that depth, you can tailor your entire business strategy from product development to marketing copy to solve a specific verified problem for a specific person. And that's where you get efficient spending.
Okay, so that brings us to the mechanics of it. How do we build this profile? The research says we have to rely on two critical data dimensions to form a what it calls a source of truth.
Right. And these two dimensions are completely non-negotiable. The first is quantitative data.
The numbers.
The numbers. This is your scale, your foundation, age, education level, income brackets, occupation, location. It tells you the size and shape of the market.
And even that has evolved, right? The research points out that tools like Google Analytics can give you real-time location data. So location isn't just a static address anymore, it's a behavioral data point.
Yes, it becomes behavioral because you're not just logging their address, you're tracking their activity based on location.
Give me an example of that.
Okay, so say you run an international e-commerce site. You can segment users who are accessing the German language version of your site, but they're physically browsing from Spain.
Oh, interesting.
That behavior suggests travel or a specific language preference or maybe a professional move. You can then tailor real-time content based on that immediate behavior, which is so much more valuable than just knowing their home address.
It makes the data actionable, like right now. Okay, so that's one dimension. But the real magic, I'm guessing, comes from the second one. Qualitative data.
This is the why. It's where we uncover the true motivation. We're looking for their goals and their main obstacles. What's stopping them from achieving success every single day?
So their pain points.
Their pain points, their hobbies, their interests, and most importantly, their expectations. What improved experience are they really looking for that the market is failing to deliver?
So if the quantitative data gives us the verifiable numbers of a segment, the qualitative data gives us the language, the emotions, the friction points that explain why that segment behaves the way it does, we need both.
Absolutely. And to get both, we need a really refined research toolkit. And this is where the HubSpot methodology for data gathering really shines. It forces you to capture both breadth and depth.
Okay, so let's dig into that. Let's start with breadth. The survey for the quantitative data. Surveys are great for big data sets, but a Persona 4.0 survey needs to be strategic.
It's extremely strategic. A successful survey uses a mix of closed-ended questions for the trends, the how much and how often, and then these short, open-ended questions to get you some initial qualitative seeds.
And the methodology says you have to divide the survey into 4 key categories.
You do.
Yeah.
It ensures you get strategic coverage. First, you have the demographic questions, the basics, age, occupation, income, to frame the profile. But then it gets more interesting.
Okay.
Second, competitor industry questions. We're asking broad things here, like which 3 brands come to mind when you think of this product, or how loyal are you to your current provider?
So that's measuring the external friction, how crowded the market is, and how hard it'll be to pull a customer away.
Exactly. We isolate that external friction so we can compare it to the third category, brand questions. Here, we drill down into the perception of our brand.
How do people see us?
Right. We ask about awareness, trustworthiness, where they found us. If customers are loyal to a competitor, that's an external problem. But if they know who we are but don't trust us,
that's an internal brand image problem. And that tells us where to put the marketing budget.
Precisely. And the last category is product questions. If they've used your offering, this measures internal product friction. You ask about the overall feeling and specifically ask them to name strengths and weaknesses.
And that data goes right back to the product team.
Feeds directly into the product improvement cycles. It makes sure the product actually aligns with the persona's expectations.
Okay, so surveys give us structure, they give us numbers, but we've established Persona 4.0 is about depth. So to get that deep picture, we move to qualitative research, the focus group. Typically a small group, right? 5 to 8 customers.
Yep, and this is where we stop chasing numbers and start chasing nuance. And the research recommends some very specific best practices here. For instance, you absolutely must use open-ended questions.
So you switch from, do you like this feature, to
something more analytical, like describe a time you used this feature and what frustration did it cause you.
And there's always a temptation to ask too many questions in a focus group, but the research says don't.
Yes, restrain yourself. You have to limit the session to, say, 5 to 10 critical questions. People just give you superficial, abstract answers instead of concrete experiences. You need time for the conversation to breathe.
And that lets you chase those unexpected insights.
Yeah.
You might find something that wasn't even on your script.
That's the real value. And if you can, bring the product. Or even a prototype. Having someone physically interact with it, holding it, clicking through it, makes the feedback so much more specific.
The sources also really emphasize discussing 2 tricky topics in this setting: pricing and competitors. Why is that so important to do in a focus group specifically?
Because it reveals the reasoning behind how they value something. Let me give you a quick analogy. In a survey, you ask what someone would pay for a specialized wrench. They might say $10.
And you think, okay, they're price sensitive.
Right. But in the focus group, the conversation might reveal they aren't interested because they just don't do that kind of work. They don't value the tool because they don't have the problem it solves.
So in the focus group, you can tell the difference between a customer saying it's too expensive versus one who's basically saying, I have no need for this, so even $1 is too expensive.
Exactly. If you only rely on the survey, you might waste millions trying to lower the price. With the focus group, you realize you need to target a totally different persona or pivot the product. That's a huge strategic insight.
That is powerful. Okay, so we've used surveys and focus groups to build this detailed Persona 4.0. But then you have the problem of how do you apply those insights instantly for every single customer?
Yeah.
You need an execution engine.
This is the activation phase. The modern customer expects fast, personalized communication tailored to their persona, or they just churn. This is where you need that synergy between AI and an integrated CRM system.
Okay, let's start with the CRM, using the HubSpot methodology as a reference. What's its main job in activating Persona 4.0?
The HubSpot CRM acts as the single source of truth, that 360-degree engine. It pulls together every piece of data. The quantitative surveys, the qualitative notes, website activity, service tickets, everything. This consolidated view is what enables real personalization.
And the research highlights integrating external channels, specifically mentioning something like Line CRM. Why is that integration so important?
Well, in many markets, especially in APAC, customers communicate through rich media messaging on platforms like Line. That's the dominant channel.
So if that conversation data is stuck in a silo,
a persona breaks down.
Yeah.
Integrating Line CRM ensures every message, from a promotion to a support reply, is continuously informed by the persona's full context. You avoid sending a generic email about something the customer just messaged a service agent about.
So the CRM centralizes the data, making the persona usable. How does AI make that process better? Where's the efficiency gain?
AI brings efficiency in 2 main ways. First, predictive analytics. AI looks at all this behavioral data and forecasts customer trends. For instance, it might see a persona is engaging less with a certain product type, and it can flag them as a high churn risk.
So you can jump in proactively and save that relationship before they leave.
Exactly. The second role is automated content and segmentation. Once the AI identifies those segments, it can automatically create and send personalized content. This makes sure the messages are timely, which is a huge part of personalization. The persona is no longer a static document, it's an active filter.
Can you walk me through a really concrete example of how that all works together?
Sure. Imagine your Persona 4.0 research showed that a segment of small business owners really values time efficiency, and they prefer messaging apps.
Okay.
Now, the AI detects one of these customers has spent several minutes on your pricing page but hasn't checked out. The system can automatically trigger a workflow through the Line CRM integration. It sends a personalized follow-up message, not a generic email, but maybe an offer for a quick 10-minute consultation slot.
So it addresses their hesitation and aligns perfectly with their value of time efficiency.
Precisely. It's satisfaction through precision.
Which brings us to the ultimate payoff: retention and long-term success.
This is the bottom line. Buyer personas are fundamentally retention tools. Personalized engagement driven by deep persona data actively reduces your churn rate. When customers feel consistently understood and served relevant content, they develop loyalty. They feel valued.
And the metrics in the research back this up, right? This isn't just theory.
No, it's very measurable. Companies that do this well see dramatic gains. The data shows they manage multi-channel campaigns up to 80% more efficiently because they aren't guessing anymore. We've even seen reports of a 99% jump in inbound leads within 6 months.
So the platform drives efficiency, but the Persona 4.0 depth drives the quality.
You got it. The ultimate success isn't just selling more today. It's building a loyal ecosystem. High customer loyalty means those people become brand advocates who then bring in new business. It closes the whole growth loop.
It systematizes relationship building.
That's a great way to put it.
So to summarize our deep dive on Buyer Persona 4.0, the era of basic demographics is over. The real mission is to understand the full emotional and behavioral profile of your customer.
And you do that by blending scale quantitative data from segmented surveys with depth, from open-ended focus group discussions that reveal the real reasons behind what they do.
And then we activate those insights by using integrated tech AI and CRM platforms like HubSpot and Line to get that 360-degree view, predict behavior, and automate personalized communication that cuts down churn and builds loyalty.
That's the whole playbook.
All right, here's a final provocative thought for you to take away. The failure rate in online marketing is still shockingly high. The research we saw suggests that's because most failing businesses just lack a strong marketing plan that's rooted in deep customer understanding.
Yeah, the real challenge isn't running a better ad. It's using that qualitative data to find the core, unresolved customer pain point.
So instead of obsessing over your next click-through rate, focus on the qualitative data. If your Persona 4.0 reveals a segment, say, busy professionals, suffers from chronic decision fatigue,
then your core problem isn't marketing your product, it's solving decision fatigue.
Right there. So you use that AI CRM stack to identify that segment and automate a high-value communication on their preferred channel, like a simplified 3-step buying guide sent as a line message, and you're using your tech to solve their fundamental psychological hurdle.
And that ability to turn qualitative pain into automated technological relief, that's the true power of Persona 4.0.